Dear my son, Machanides, when you eventually read these words, you will be surely surprised how it occurred in mind of your father to describe the events of his life barely beyond of his 30th spring, because man of this age does not yet look back the past, but rather plan for the future. And you'll be especially astonished to learn, then when I began to write this book, I was a member of the Royal Council of Five, who assisted our beloved king, Cleomenes, in directing the life of our city-state, Sparta. Thus I would have had enough other things to deal with than spending my valuable time with writing. It is all true. I also have to tell you, although I have been interested in dramas, epics, and Hellenistic history since my early youth, for which my friends thought I am a bit eccentric, since in our country, in Lacedaemon, reading is considered unveiling, it never occurred to me to ever write. The intentions of gods are inscrutable. Sometimes they help the poor mortal, sometimes they beat them into the ground. Their wrath couched me at the happiest period of my life, when I belonged to the leadership of the city, when I was living in happy marriage with my amazingly beautiful wife, who gifted me with gorgeous son. But an insidious disease attacked me half a year ago. At the beginning, I didn't take the occasional pains and loss of appetite seriously, but the pains got worse by the time, and malaise became more and more frequent. I haven't been able to move out of our ruler house for 3 months. Your mother, my incomparable Tamaya, nurses me with self-sacrificing devotion, sending the best doctor of the king from time to time. Yeah, I know there's no hope. When I asked the physician what kind of disease I suffer from, he said I have a tumor growing in my stomach, and it depends on a grace of God's whether I ever recover. I'm not fooling myself anymore. I know people used to die of this disease. Moreover, in matter of short time, my poor mother had passed away at young age either. She was digested by the same sickness certainly. I rebelled against the will of gods for a while, but then I resigned myself to the fate they destined to me. Perhaps the toughest for me, that I can see you rarely, my son. Like every Spartan boy who passed 6, you have to move to the school to subject yourself the harsh Spartan education along with your contemporaries. You will live in wooden barracks of school for 12 years. By the time you're going to be 18, when you will be allowed to come back either here or to our house downtown, I'll be long gone, wandering in underworld. For this consideration, I decided to write the story of my life. I wanted you to get to know your father, to learn what we went through, especially in the last 10 exciting years. In this period, our king, Cleomenes, restored the broken Spartan discipline and simple way of living. He quadrupled the dwindling number of citizens, divided the land of rich. However, a lot happened until he did all this. Many people moved to underworld through violent death. One of the ancient royal families of Sparta was exterminated. Intrigues took place. We fought against both internal and external enemies. I often was at the center of events, and as our king Cleomenes' most trusted friend, I also was a witness of them. Precisely because of this hope, that when you read my writing, you will not only know how your father lived and thought from childhood, but also what we have done for the formation of the old, new order of the city, to make Spartans strong, proud, and satisfied again, like they were before. Your trainers must have told you that the 2 royal families of Sparta are descended from son of God, Heracles. The mighty hero is especially revered in our city, and if one has his blood in his vein, is entitled to full protection from childhood. My mother, as I learned from Cleomenes a few years ago, was a niece of King Leonidas. I don't know anything about my father. It is possible that he came from among Helots. This evidenced by the fact until I was 5 years old, I lived in one of rural houses of the aged family, cutting from everyone. When King Cleomenes divided the Spartan lands 2 decades later, I asked him to give my share of state property around that house where I spent my early childhood. And now in the very same place, among so many memories, I spend probably the last weeks or months of my life.